Do you see this picture in front of you? Do you see at the top left-hand side it says Google? This is Google Maps using NASA's information to show their eclipse, which is happening in a few weeks' time. But it doesn't work. Two independent people, one doing their own model, one using or trying to use the information that's given, have tried to plot out the eclipse. And the eclipse is going the wrong way. The eclipse goes, the only way they can make it work is to either turn things upside down, or just the Earth, that is, or just do things completely differently. And neither one of these people can make it work. Now we're 2017. Every single body can go and have a look themselves when they realise that they have to spin the globe the wrong way round to get the shadow to work with the eclipse. Now, there are loads of people like NASA giving out information, governments giving out this information, Google Maps giving out this information, and there's loads of people who think that they are researchers and agreeing that this works. Well, each one of them is wrong, and they know they're wrong. They're wrong because they've not done their own research or worked things out. They've just looked at simulation instead of doing their own calculations. And it means all of them are wrong. Every single person that's agreed that the eclipse is right on the globe is wrong. All of them. So please do your own research. Every single one can do it. And I wondered if anybody can come back to us and tell us what they think, if they can make it go the other way. But anyway, this will explain why it's wrong. So Stan, you've joined us. So what have you been doing, Stan?
It's not so much me, it's the prop. He's been doing quite a bit. But he's finished the model now of the well, I say finished, it's viewable now in 360 of the eclipse on the 21st. And yeah, there's a lot of problems. If I post the link in the Hangout.
Yeah, series will show it, or it's probably better if it's series. And series is on mute. But he's usually the quickest one to doing it.
I saw that when he posted, because I subbed to the channel the other day and then got the notification, and I looked at it this morning. So I posed a couple of inquiries on his post just to confirm. But
yeah,
it was awesome that he independently came up with exactly the same results that I did, although mine's not 4D animation, it's a 3-dimensional model where you got to physically move the stuff around and cast the shadows. But yeah, I thought it was awesome he came up with the same results. I mean, I can't reproduce it either, and to see him animate it, it's just like, yeah, right on.
Yeah, he's proper gone to town on that. It's taken a long time to get that far.
Let me present it, series.
There you go. Yeah, this is great.
Right, I'm just presenting it. There you go.
But yeah, this is what we're seeing from a working model. You know, you've got the sun, the moon, even the moon. We've even put in the scan lines what you're seeing in the sky. You know, the moon traveling up and down. It's all everything's as it is. Well, as they tell you, sorry. And yeah, it doesn't work. Shadows bigger, lasts a lot longer as well. And it goes the wrong way. And as well, it casts these shadows at the back, like it eclipses the moon on a full moon.
Can I ask you something, guys? I mean, it's not blaming you either, by the way, but how come we're just noticing this now?
So I don't think anybody's ever really looked into it, have they? Not, you know, everyone just takes their word for it, and when you stop taking someone's word for it and look into things for yourself, you notice different things. Not what we're told.
Yeah, I agree. The shadow should be going from east to west, not west to east, because I couldn't get it to go any other way myself. Yeah. Unless I put it on a flat plane. If I put it on the flat plane model, and then just do the angles according to a flat plane, it works perfect.
Then they said to Jaren the other night, didn't they, that it happens that way because the moon rotates faster. So then in that case, the moon would be travelling backwards across the sky the opposite way for it to happen. How they were explaining it.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way though. No.
No. You got to have what you see in reality. It's got to work on the model.
Right.
And that just clearly isn't. So I don't think anybody's ever really looked into it, have they? Not, you know, everyone just takes their word for it, and when you stop taking someone's word for it, you look into things for yourself, you notice different things. Not what we're told.
Yeah, I agree. The shadow should be going from east to west, not west to east, because I couldn't get it to go any other way myself. Yeah. Unless I put it on a flat plane. If I put it on the flat plane model, and then just do the angles according to a flat plane, it works perfect. Yeah.
Then they said to Jaren the other night, didn't they, that it happens that way because the moon rotates faster. So then in that case, the moon would be travelling backwards across the sky the opposite way for it to happen. How they were explaining it.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way though. No.
No. You got to have what you see in reality. It's got to work on the model.
Right.
And that just clearly isn't. You wouldn't believe the amount of work Z-Proxy has put into making it.
And just to explain why, you know, they're trying to say that, like that's their excuse. They're saying, oh well, it's because the moon's traveling faster. But if you think about it in terms of a simple gear, right? The closer you get to the center of a gear, the faster the object moves. So the bigger the arc that the moon would swing, the slower it would go to the Earth, right? The further away it gets, the slower. It
is traveling at a greater speed, but it's not rotating faster, is it? It's farther away, so it is going faster in the model, but it's slower than the spin. Because they said every 28 days of rotation on the Earth is one rotation of the moon. But then that's not what they showed in their model. They showed the moon spinning round quicker than the Earth was spinning, so it would have been spinning backwards. Correct, yeah. Yeah. Because I just watched it and thought this is total rubbish. You know, I had to comment, and I just, I commented on Jaren's. Well, it was on Antonio's copy of it, but yeah. Well, yeah, the other thing too is if you think about it in terms of a year, so the moon is locked into sync with the Earth, right? And it does the 27-day cycle. But both the moon and the Earth in the globe model are locked in with the sun. So both would only move 1 degree per day over a 360-degree ellipse over an entire year, right? So you can't say that now both are traveling so fast relative to the sun that the shadow goes backwards. That fails too, right? Yeah. There's no way they can talk their way out of it. No, it's only 1 degree of change. That's why he's gone through so much effort to make what he's made, just to prove it does not work. Yeah. You know? There is no arguments with that model. Yeah. That's why we're showing it. If someone says we're doing something wrong, tell us, we'll put it right. You know, this is what we want. Like, you know, any input, criticism, anything, come and question it. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Because the only way I can see that we can put that right is to flip the Earth upside down, and then everything's spinning backwards anyway. Backwards, yeah. And he found the same thing I did too. In order to get a shadow that small on the surface of a ball, it's the scale and the size, and bring the moon in a lot closer to the ball object to get a shadow that small to appear. Because if you take a ball near a surface and move it away from the surface, the shadow gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it just diffuses into nothing. He made the shadow right. You know, he pulled the moon closer to make it right. Yeah, I had to do the same thing. So I mean, that's the only way it works. So you have to bring the moon so close
in order to get that shadow that it just blows the lunch anyway. Yeah. There's only one way to make a shadow that small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a great job. Yeah. Hats off. Yeah.
I said to Z-Proxy earlier today, though, I said we're going to be gutted if the shadow does go that way, and NASA got it wrong. You know, but I can't see it myself.
It's awful, isn't it? The deception, when they know it doesn't work and they're still going to put it out and lie to you.
Yeah, that's why we've got to show what Z-Proxy's been doing. You know, push it, and all of these we need to show it to everyone and say, come on, answer the questions. How can that be? That's a working model. It's better than anyone in NASA or anything like that's showing us, and you know, no one else has put that much effort in the mainstream to come up with anything like that.
Who do you go to though? Who can you go to? I mean, this is what I find really amazing, like all those observatories, those great big telescopes, when they know the stars are only so many miles away, and they've been telling us about Milky Way. I'm not saying the Milky Way's not there, but it's not light years away and all that. I mean, who do you go to tell this to? Excuse me.
Well, don't know.
I shared it to my Facebook page this morning. Maybe be a good idea to put some hashtags to it, you know.
Yeah, just I don't do any social media or anything like that.
I suppose we're left to these kind of hangouts and hope that other people think, you know, because it's dispelling what we live on for sure. It's proof that we're not living on the ball.
Yeah, well, people are watching. There's 69 people watching now, so let's just hope there's some, you know, people.
Yeah, share this hangout.
Yeah, share. Go on Z-Proxy's channel and share. Oh, it's on Cosmic Surfer's page as well. It'll soon be up on mine. Just go on there, share it everywhere. Say, look, there's problems with this. It don't work.
I always, because Chris knew that it didn't work on his model. You know,
Yeah.
we were going to try and push, you know, get him to talk about it a few times, so to prove to people it can't happen. But obviously, there's that video now.
Well, yeah, what Chris was showing, this is just a bit more in detail, isn't it? But it's exactly the same as what Chris was showing the other day. But this is just like I say, you can put the goggles on with this and sit there and watch it in the virtual world, like how it's meant to play out.
I mean, obviously I didn't do it, and maybe you didn't do it, but it's just amazing that just an ordinary person can spend time, put it together, and just immediately prove it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, what have we been doing? You know, we're supposed to be in this sort of high technology, and we're going to Mars and all. You know, oh.
It just doesn't work.
Petition.
Yeah. It needs someone though. It needs someone now though to come forward and try and argue it. You know, try and say
Someone big, you mean?
yeah, look, you've gone wrong here, and then we'll go away and change it, and then come back and then say, well, you know, it's got to depict what's going on above your head. You can't change the rotation of the Earth, the Moon. You can't. That's what we're told, and basically, if you were to put a camera that was on Earth, that would be roughly what you would see above your head, because it does all sort of work apart from the shadows going the wrong way.
But it just seems really incredible that it's not, you know, someone like Chris and this video, you know, they've worked it out, haven't they? Like, how come none of these astrologers work that out then?
They're not paid to. They get a paycheck. We don't get a paycheck. That's the difference.
That's true. It's really bad, isn't it? Just the lies. There's just so many of them, and they just get worse. Well,
if you go into work and finish your job, you're out of a job. You know, they don't want to be out of a job. They want to keep going into their little tin hut every night and opening their chute and looking at the stars, don't they? Getting paid for it.
I suppose I used to look up and think that they were millions of miles away, but now I look at them and I just think you're only miles away.
Yeah. Well, we all did.
Below. Yeah.
Everyone did. I used to go and sit out on a starry night on the downs and just look at the stars and think, wow. How wrong I was.
You didn't realise they were just there, did you? You didn't realise they were just in front of you.
Right.
And the other thing I think that people don't think about much is that when you have this sun in your sky, yeah, we'll just pick a magic 40 miles from where if you had no trees or houses, 40 miles to the east, and then we'll just put 40 miles to the west. It takes hours to go across there, and at the same time, they've got sun in New York and America, while it's taking 14, 16 hours just to do 40 miles over your head.
Yeah, well, I was going to actually try and work out the time that Eclipse is taking from the 360 footage the proxy's done. I was going to like work out the rotation and, you know, how long on that video it's saying it's going to take, but it's obviously a lot longer than what it will take. There's just so many problems with it, you know.
Will he come on a hangout then?
I don't know if C Proxy will. He likes to be listening.
I've missed that part of it anyway, and I haven't really been following that, to tell you the truth. So maybe
I had to bring the moon really, really close, and in the model I did too, and then scale it down somewhat to make the shadow 72 miles across, roughly. Right. So yeah, the shadow.
Just another now, isn't it? Just one more now.
Yeah.
See, Proxy's in the chat room, by the way. We've been sharing your video.
Yeah, he's been there for quite a while.
Yeah, maybe I'll have a look into that then, because, like I say, I've been ill this weekend, so I haven't really done a lot, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, we can run the Z Proxy's video again too, and then, but I can show you on the model in a physical sense too, the same problem. If you want to just present it, I can just talk through it real quick.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because like I say, I haven't really had it. I'll look at it, to tell you the truth.
There you go, Chris.
So here's the globe. Here's the globe, and I wrapped the app for 100 years around the globe, and this one here where the shadow starts in the North Pacific, and you can see the date.
I can't see anything.
Not
it's
showing.
presented. It's on my one. Oh,
Is it?
Let me just refresh the chat room to see if it's coming up there. Hang on a sec. Sorry, everybody.
I can reshare it too if you let me know.
I can see it now.
Okay, then, cool.
Okay. I'll try to move it slow so it doesn't, because this is a live refreshing model, right? It just has to render everything. So in the bigger picture there, you can see I got the map of the eclipse in that blue line. So there's a shadow on August 21st, 2017. So this path, the eclipse actually starts in the North Pacific, south of Alaska. It makes landfall on California coast around 10 o'clock in the morning. Leaves the East Coast, north of Florida, about 3:17. So it's about a 4-hour trek back across. So the speeds kind of work out roughly, right? The speed works out. And then it will finish just past somewhere east of Africa. Yeah, it'd be west of Africa, I guess.
Yeah, because in the UK, you should just catch the. We might be able to just see a little bit of it, actually.
A glimpse of a dimming sky. That's about all you're going to see. Yeah. But what you can see is, so if you look at the second screen where I'm rotating the little ball there, so the top one that's like the gray without the rendering, that's the target. So you can see I got the camera pointed at the moon. There's the ball and there's the moon, and you can see how close I had to bring the moon to get that shadow. And if I move that at all,
Yeah, but I say that's not 30 Earths away, is it?
Had to bring it in within 10,000 kilometers or something of to scale. So if you grab that at all, and if I move it, you'll see that the shadow gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The further away it goes, it just disappears.
Exactly.
So anyway, I'll put it back where it was so you can see the shadow. Just to confirm the setup of the shot here. So I put the camera's approximately, well, the camera's looking dead on the moon. So you can see that I got the moon in the right phase. It is a new moon, so it's like an eclipsed moon, like it's a new moon.
Right.
In order to do a new moon, you have to have the sun approximately, give or take 90 degrees behind the moon to light it up from the back side, so it's black on this side. It's a dark new moon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So then you can see. So those are the first two things. The first thing that doesn't work out is the size, and we know that the Earth, if I rotate it. So here's the problem, right? You have to keep that shadow at a full eclipse. So this is 100% eclipse going the whole way, right? So I can't make any angular changes in the shadow. So here's so if I rotate the moon and the sun, and the Earth at the same time, rotate on the Z-axis, on the zenith, relative to the sun, you'll see that what happens is the shadow starts to spread because I've changed the angle between the moon and the sun, right? Right, yeah. You see it spreads out now, right? So I lose my focus because I've now changed. I'd have to actually move the sun, the moon, and the Earth all at the same time on the same zenith to maintain a perfect shadow. So that doesn't work. So there's where it fails one time there. I can make it work.
Just my one question. Just my one question. Won't it be from each observer's view? Like obviously, as the moon passes by, each observer will just see we'll get to see the actual eclipse as they move further down. Just from their unique viewing angle within the red line. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, if I can show you what happened here, I actually answer that question.
That was my question. Like, surely the reason why the shadow would be is because it's from each unique viewing perspective on that line. That angle they need to be looking at to see the totality kind of thing.
So what happens if I do that? If I take the Earth, the camera, which is you on the ground, and the moon, and rotate it relative to the sun. So we'll keep the sun heliocentric in the middle. And if I rotate you with the Earth and the moon, you'll see that it screws it up too. Because if I rotate you away, keeping you focused on the moon, eventually the moon comes into its phases. See? Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work that way either, right? So the only way you can do it is to rotate the ball. Like rotate the ball on the zenith. Keep the shadow going.
That's a problem, isn't it? The moon wouldn't rotate that fast in the heliocentric model if it was at the correct distance, would it? If you know what I mean?
No. They say it does move faster, but even if those angles, well, you lose the shadow anyway. That's the first.
That's what I mean. You can't have best of both, can you? If you know what I mean? You can have one or the other.
Both. No.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
But what I can do is I can make the shadow go the right way that they're saying it's supposed to go, but I have to rotate the Earth backwards, right? And that's the only way it works. I can follow that path precisely, but now I'm rotating the Earth in the wrong direction, right? And that's the only way it works. So as far as I'm concerned, it's impossible to do it any other way. And I'll show you too, just for argument's sake. Let's line it up here. I'll move the moon. Let's move it so that rotate on the Z. I'm going to just line up the shadow dead center in the United States here, roughly on that blue X. I'll spin it around a bit so you can see it. Let it render for a second. To show you the consequences, let's say that the Earth, the moon, and you are all basically stationary, and I rotate the sun relative to you on the ground. And you see you end up with the same problem, right? Because now everything is moving and it starts to spread the angle, and eventually the moon comes into its face, right? The same problem is you end up creating moon phases, right? So if I bring nighttime, because what's supposed to happen is it's supposed to be about 10 o'clock in the morning in the shadow, right? So if I'm moving the sun to the Earth, then it messes it all up again, right?
Yeah.
You just end up creating moon phases, right? So it don't work, man. I can't get it to work. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't work because you can't have best of both, can you? Like say, it's either one or the other kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a strange one. I haven't really looked into it, to tell you the truth. Like only what the videos what I've seen popping up on YouTube and that. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe I'll look a bit more into this, like, because we keep looking at it from the heliocentric model, but there's not many look into it from the flat Earth perspective. I know Antonio Subras has done quite a little bit on it, hasn't he? So that'd be interesting.
It works fine on the flat model. Like on the flat model, if you keep the sun rotating in like the donut shape you're looking at before, right? And then you do the donut with like what Stan is seeing with the moon, and then you just keep the moon roughly where it is in that position, and then bring the sun up around it over the top. Well, then the angle of the shadow goes west to east, just exactly the way it's supposed to, as the moon passes over top. It works perfect.
Because what I did look at though, because the moon is actually on southern declination or through that, isn't it? So it's heading south, if you know what I mean. I noticed on the shadow it like comes in from the top, then you get totality, and then it goes out like a V shape, isn't it?
Yeah, at first it does like a W shape type of deal. It comes in, it drops down, then it goes back to the center, and then it drops again. So for me, that tells me exactly what we're seeing is that there's an angle difference between the sun and the moon, and it's just because they're two different pitches, right? The pitch is changing between the two, and as the arc changes between the two, well, then you get a sine wave, right? That's the way I see it. But you can see I got the model set up here, right? I mean, I got the equators dead on, and then I got 5-degree inclination, and the sun's out beyond.
And are there other lines on there, the other eclipses we've had throughout the years?
Yeah, if I zoom in on the ball, if I make this a little bit smaller here. So these are all the eclipses for the next 100 years, roughly. It's 100 years on this map. I think there's 100 lines. And the other eclipses that don't work either on the ball model are the ones that travel over the North Pole. The only way to get that shadow in June, like the 2021 eclipse on June 10th, it starts in northern Canada and goes right over Iceland, over Greenland, and then back over into China. Right, so it actually doesn't arc across the North top on the ball model. The only way to make that work is to take the moon physically and move it all the way to the top North Pole, and then bring the sun up the other side, right? Have the sun coming down from above, right? So we know that don't work because you can't move the moon out of its 5-degree inclination. So how does that work?
God knows.
Okay. So none of these eclipses work, in my opinion. I can't get any of them to work. I've tried, right?